The breaking point. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the Terran Embassy station, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling nebula beyond. After 20 years of serving as humanity's military attaché to the Galactic Concordat, she had learned to keep her expression neutral even when her blood boiled. Today, that carefully maintained composure was about to shatter. "Another recommendation, Ambassador Dezax?" she asked, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. The holographic display between them showed the wreckage of the Proxima Beta research station, its fragments still glowing from the Vakari weapons fire that had torn it apart. The tall crystalline being shifted colors in what Chen had learned was discomfort. The Concordat merely suggests that humanity restrict its scientific endeavors to approved sectors. The Vakari Dominion has expressed concerns about your species' rate of technological advancement. Concerns. Chen's laugh was sharp enough to make the ambassador's crystalline form ripple. They just destroyed a civilian research station. 37 scientists died in that attack. Scientists working on medical nanobots to cure diseases that affect multiple species, including the Vakari. The station's location violated Treaty Section 47B regarding permissible zones for human research facilities. Dezax's voice chimed like wind through glass. The Concordat regrets the loss of life, but nothing. Chen cut in. She turned from the viewport, her dress uniform's metals catching the starlight. First it was restrictions on our ship sizes, then limits on our colony numbers. Now we can't even conduct medical research without getting our facilities blown up by the very people who claim to be protecting us. The ambassador's color shifted to a deep blue. Admiral Chen, humanity is young. The galaxy is complex. The Concordat has guided many species through their early stages off. Early stages. Chen pulled up another hologram, this one showing Earth. Ambassador, do you know what that blue marble represents? It represents a species that survived an impact winter that wiped out most large life forms. We evolved on a death world with gravity nearly twice that of most civilized planets. We endured ice ages, megavolcanoes, and predators that would give your peacekeepers nightmares. She began pulling up more images. Human achievements, cities rising from deserts, colonies thriving on hostile worlds, medical breakthroughs that had saved billions across multiple species. We did all this not because of your guidance, but despite your restrictions. And now we're supposed to accept the murder of our people as a recommendation. The ambassador's crystalline form vibrated with concern. Admiral, please understand. The Concordat's policies are designed to maintain galactic stability. Your species' rapid advancement has never threatened anyone. Chen finished. We've followed every rule, jumped through every hoop, smiled and nodded at every new restriction. And what has it gotten us? Our people dead, our progress stifled, and our patience exhausted. She pressed a button on her wrist computer, and new holograms filled the room. They showed human ships, not the small, compliance-limited vessels the Concordat knew about, but massive warships hidden in the depths of gas giants, asteroid bases concealed by gravitational distortion fields, and weapon systems that would make the Vakari's recent attack look like a child's toy. Dezax's form went almost transparent with shock. This is impossible. Our sensors would have detected. Would they? Chen's smile was cold. Ambassador, did you really think a species that survived Earth would ever truly leave itself defenseless? We played weak because we wanted peace. We accepted restrictions because we hoped for cooperation. But we never stopped preparing for the day when the galaxy's guidance showed itself for what it really was, a cage. The ambassador backed away from the holograms, crystal limbs trembling. These weapons, these ships, they violate every treaty. The Concordat will do nothing, Chen stated flatly, because in about 30 seconds, every human embassy across known space will be showing their hosts exactly what I'm showing you. And in about 5 minutes, The Vakari Dominion is going to learn why attacking a Deathworld species was the biggest mistake they've ever made. She walked to her desk and picked up an old brass compass, a family heirloom from Earth's seafaring days. You know what this is, Ambassador? It's from when humans first started exploring our world's oceans. We were afraid of what lay beyond the horizon, but we went anyway. We've never stopped exploring, never stopped advancing, and never stopped preparing for the day we'd need to defend ourselves. Warning klaxons began blaring throughout the station. Dizax's form flickered as reports began flooding in. Massive energy signatures appearing across human space, hidden fleets emerging from gas giants and asteroid fields, weapon platforms awakening from centuries of dormancy. "This is your final warning, Ambassador," Chen said quietly. "The Concordat has a choice to make. Stand aside and let us handle the Vakari ourselves, or stand with them and learn firsthand why Earth is classified as a death world." She turned back to the viewport, watching as the first human warships dropped their camouflage fields, their massive forms eclipsing the stars. "We're done playing weak. We're done accepting restrictions. And most importantly, we're done pretending we need anyone's permission to defend our people." The ambassador's form had shifted to pure white, a sign of absolute terror in their species. What are you?" Chen's reflection in the viewport showed a grim smile. "We're humans, Ambassador. We're the species that turned a death world into a cradle of civilization. And now we're going to show the galaxy exactly what that means." As the ambassador fled the room, Chen opened the encrypted channel to Earth Command. Authentication code: Omega-7 Delta. "This is Admiral Chen. Operation Phoenix is a go. I repeat, Operation Phoenix is a go. Release the fleet." Across human space, hidden shipyards awakened. Beneath the ice of Europa, inside the storms of Jupiter, and deep within the Oort cloud, humanity's true military might prepared to emerge. The galaxy was about to learn why you never back a death world species into a corner. The age of compliance was over. The age of humanity had begun. The hidden arsenal. Deep within Titan's methane seas, Commander Maya Patel watched as centuries of secrecy came to an end. Through the reinforced viewport of Control Station Imdal, she observed thousands of lights activating in the hydrocarbon depths, each one representing a warship awakening from its long slumber. "Status report," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of generations of preparation. The command center hummed with activity as her crew, descendants of the original Operation Phoenix architects, brought humanity's hidden fleet online. All Titan-based vessels reporting green. Commander, her XO, Lieutenant Commander Jackson, announced. "Crystalline computing cores are stable, antimatter containment at optimal levels. The Vakari won't know what hit them." Maya allowed herself a small smile. While the galaxy had dismissed humanity's primitive technology, they had been building something unprecedented. The crystalline computers, developed in secret beneath Titan's seas, made their alien counterparts look like children's toys. The antimatter drives, tested in the chaos of Jupiter's storms, could outrun anything in known space. Signal from Earth Command. Communications Officer Raman called out. Admiral Chen's diplomatic gambit worked. The Vakari have rejected our final warning and are mobilizing their fleet. They still think they're dealing with a handful of outdated patrol ships. Time to educate them, Maya responded, entering her command codes into the station's mainframe. Across Saturn's largest moon, massive doors began opening in the frozen surface, allowing methane seas to cascade into carefully engineered channels. Begin Phase 1 of Operation Phoenix. Launch the Titan fleet. The first ship to emerge was the TSS Prometheus, humanity's greatest technological achievement. At 4 kilometers long, its sleek hull was covered in metamaterial camouflage that had kept it hidden from alien sensors for decades. More vessels followed, each one representing a different aspect of humanity's true military doctrine. Commander, Jackson's voice held a note of awe. The Jovian Division is reporting ready. They've completed their emergence from the gas giant's storms. Maya nodded. While her fleet had been hiding in Titan's seas, other human forces had concealed themselves throughout the solar system. The Jovian division had used Jupiter's massive storms as cover, testing their weapons in the planet's incredible pressures. The Europaphores had built bases under the ice, using the moon's ocean to mask their energy signatures. The Mars contingent had hidden in artificial caverns, their ships disguised as mining operations. Signal from the Kuiper Belt stations, Raman announced. The long-range sensors we disguised as research outposts are tracking the Vakari fleet. They're moving exactly as predicted, following the fake evacuation routes we let them detect. Of course they are, Maya said, watching as more ships rose from Titan's seas. They think they're hunting refugees. Instead, they're sailing right into humanity's first demonstration of real power. She opened a channel to her fleet. All ships, this is Commander Puddle. For 300 years, we've hidden our strength. We've watched the galaxy's powers play their games, thinking they had us contained and controlled. Today, that changes. On her tactical display, she could see the full scope of humanity's military awakening. The Titan fleet was nearly launched, its ships forming up in attack formations that would have been impossible according to known human capabilities. The Jovian division was emerging from Jupiter's storms, their hulls crackling with energy gathered from the gas giant itself. The Europaphores was breaking through the ice, their stealth systems finally deactivating after centuries of silence. New contact, Jackson called out. The Vakari fleet just dropped out of FTL at the expected coordinates. 800 ships, headed straight for the evacuation lanes. Maya's smile turned predatory. Right into our waiting arms. Send word to Admiral Chen. Operation Phoenix is proceeding as planned. All ships, battle formations. Show these aliens why Earth is called a death world. The Titan fleet moved with perfect precision, their formations revealing countless hours of secret training. The crystalline computers, far more advanced than anything the aliens thought humans capable of building, coordinated their movements with microsecond accuracy. Antimatter drives flared to life, pushing the ships to speeds that would have seemed impossible to their opponents. Message from Earth Command, Raman reported. Admiral Chen says, the galaxy wanted to see humanity's true face. Let's give them something to remember. Maya stood at her command station, watching as humanity's hidden arsenal fully awakened. 3 centuries of preparation, of building in secret while playing the role of a primitive species, were about to pay off. The Vakari thought they were facing a handful of outdated patrol ships. Instead, they were about to encounter the combined might of a species that had evolved on a death world, a species that had never stopped preparing for this moment. All ships, weapons free, she commanded. Show them what humanity can really do. As her fleet moved to engage the Vakari, Maya thought about all the generations that had worked in secret to reach this moment. The scientists who had developed impossible technologies while pretending to be centuries behind their alien counterparts. The engineers who had built vast underground shipyards and underwater bases, always hidden from prying eyes. The soldiers and sailors who had trained endlessly, knowing they might never see actual combat, but ensuring humanity would be ready when needed. Multiple Vakari ships moving to firing positions, Jackson reported. They're charging their primary weapons. Let them fire first, Maya ordered. Let them see their most powerful weapons bounce off the shields they thought we couldn't build. Then show them what real human engineering can do. The hidden arsenal was hidden no longer. Humanity's time of pretending to be weak was over. The galaxy was about to learn why you should never underestimate a species that evolved on Earth. First strike. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with light as the Vakari fleet opened fire. Their energy weapons, renowned across the galaxy for their destructive power, lanced toward the human ships in brilliant purple streams. Behind her command console on the TSS Prometheus, Commander Maya Patel watched calmly as the attacks approached. Crystalline shields holding at 100%. Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, unable to keep the satisfaction from his voice. The Vakari weapons aren't even causing temperature fluctuations. Maya nodded, remembering all the simulations they'd run in Titan's methane seas. They're using standard energy-based weapons, just as our intel suggested. Time to show them why that was a mistake. She opened a channel to her fleet. All ships, execute battle plan Handal. Show them what we learned from Earth's oceans. The human fleet split apart with fluid grace, their formation mimicking the hunting patterns of Earth's deep-sea predators. The Vakari fleet, accustomed to rigid battle lines and predictable tactics, struggled to track the seemingly chaotic movements. Admiral Chen is reporting successful deployment of the Europa Force, Communications Officer Raman announced. The Vakari reinforcements have taken the bait and are moving to engage them. On the tactical display, Maya watched as the trap 3 centuries in the making began to close. The Vakari had divided their forces, sending half their fleet to deal with what they thought was humanity's main force near Europa. They didn't realize they were facing only a fraction of Earth's true military might. Multiple Vakari capitals charging their siege cannons, Jackson warned. They're targeting the Prometheus. Perfect, Maya smiled. Deploy the Charybdis arrays. From the hulls of the human ships, thousands of small objects detached and spread outward. To Vakari sensors, they appeared to be debris or countermeasures. They weren't. The Vakari siege cannons fired, their energy weapons powerful enough to crack small moons. The beams struck the cloud of deployed objects, and something impossible happened. The energy weapons began to curve, twist, and spiral, caught in artificial gravity, wells created by the Charybdis arrays. What humans learned from Earth's oceans, Maya explained to her stunned bridge crew, is that the most effective predators don't always hit the hardest. Sometimes they redirect their prey's own energy against them. The trapped energy beams, guided by the arrays, curved back toward the Vakari fleet. Their shields, calibrated to emit energy rather than absorb it, provided no defense against their own weapons. Multiple direct hits, Jackson reported as Vakari ships began to break apart. Their fleet formation is breaking down. They're trying to regroup, but our fluid tactics are keeping them separated. Maya opened a channel to all human forces. Phase 2 of Operation Phoenix begins now. All ships deploy Leviathan units. From the larger human vessels, massive shapes emerged. They were combat drones, but unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Based on the deep-sea creatures of Earth, they moved with impossible agility for their size, their hulls covered in metamaterials that made them nearly invisible to sensors. Leviathan units engaging, Raman reported. The Vakari point defense systems can't track them. Their adaptive camouflage is working exactly as designed. The Leviathans struck with devastating precision, their weapon systems bypassing shields to deliver payloads directly to enemy hulls. They weren't using energy weapons or even traditional explosives. Instead, they deployed swarms of nanomachines that began consuming the Vakari ships from the inside out. Signal from the Vakari flagship, Raman called out. They're trying to surrender. Maya checked her tactical display. The battle had lasted less than 20 minutes. Half the Vakari fleet was destroyed or disabled. Their most powerful weapons turned against them, their ships being devoured by technology they hadn't known humans possessed. Message from Earth Command, Raman continued. Admiral Chen wants to know if we need reinforcements. Maya looked at the battle zone, where human ships moved with predatory grace through the debris of Vakari vessels. Negative. The Titan fleet can handle this. Tell her to keep our other forces in reserve. The galaxy should understand that this wasn't our full strength. This was just our first demonstration. She opened a channel to the Vakari flagship. This is Commander Paddle of the Terran Space Service. Your surrender is accepted under the following conditions. You will broadcast everything that happened here to your entire empire. Let them see what happens when you underestimate a Deathworld species. Commander, Jackson's voice was quiet. The Vakari reinforcements near Europa are trying to retreat. Should we pursue? Maya thought about the scientists who had died at Proxima Beta, about the centuries of condescension and restrictions humanity had endured. No, let some of them escape. Let them tell the galaxy what they saw here. Let everyone know that humanity is done playing weak. The battle was over, but its impact was just beginning. Across human space, other fleets were emerging from their hiding places. The Jovian division was moving to secure the outer system. The Mars contingent was deploying to protect the inner colonies, and deep beneath Titan's seas, more ships were awakening, ready to show the galaxy that humanity's hidden arsenal was far from depleted. "Send word to Admiral Chen," Maya ordered. "First strike successful. Operation Phoenix proceeding as planned." The galaxy wanted to see humanity's true face. Well, now they've seen it, and this is just the beginning. As her fleet moved to secure their victory, Maya thought about Earth, about the death world that had forged her species. The galaxy had thought they were containing a primitive, barely spacefaring race. Instead, they had been poking the sleeping giant, one that had never stopped preparing for the day when it would need to show its true strength. The age of human submission was over. The real war was about to begin. The ripple effect. The grand chamber of the Galactic Concordat had never been so chaotic. Admiral Sarah Chen watched from her position at the human delegation's platform as representatives from 100 species argued, threatened, and pleaded. The holographic displays above showed scenes from the battle near Jupiter. Human ships moving like ocean predators, Vakari weapons being turned against their own ships, and the devastating effectiveness of the Leviathan units. The humans have violated every treaty. The Vakari ambassadors' scales were nearly white with rage. They built forbidden weapons, hid military assets, developed restricted technologies. Treaties. Chen's voice cut through the chamber like a blade. "You mean the restrictions you placed on us, while claiming to be our protectors? The same treaties you violated when you attacked our research station." The crystalline form of Ambassador Dizax shifted nervously. The Concordat must maintain order. These human weapons, these ships, they upset the balance of power that has kept peace for millennia. Peace. Chen pulled up new holograms, showing the wreckage of the Proxima Beta station. "Is this your peace? Attacking civilian researchers, restricting our growth, treating us like children while plotting our containment." From her private channel, Commander Patel's voice came through. "Admiral, the Arcturus sensor net just detected multiple fleets moving. The Vakari's allies are mobilizing." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Everything was proceeding exactly as Earth Command had predicted. "Tell me, representatives of the Concordat, did you really think a species that evolved on Earth would ever truly leave itself defenseless?" She activated a new holographic display, showing real-time footage of human fleets emerging across space. The Titan fleet near Saturn, the Europa Force, the Jovian division. Each revelation caused new waves of shock through the chamber. "Impossible." A mechanoid representative's lights flashed in agitation. "Our sensors would have detected." "Would they?" Chen interrupted. "Your sensors couldn't even penetrate Earth's oceans properly. Did you really think you understood all of human technology? We learned deception from our planet's deepest-dwelling creatures, camouflage from our most successful predators." The chamber's central AI announced, "Multiple diplomatic requests incoming. The Centauri Republic, the Rigel Collective, and the Sirius Confederation are requesting immediate alliance negotiations with Earth." Chen wasn't surprised. The smaller powers, long chafing under Concordat restrictions, had recognized the shifting balance of power. They had seen humanity's strength and were choosing sides. "The Vakari Empire announces the activation of the Mutual Defense Pact," the AI continued. "Their allies are legally bound to provide military support." "Are they?" Chen asked quietly. She pressed a button on her console, and new holograms appeared. They showed human ships near every major Vakari ally's homeworld, ships that had been hiding there for decades, waiting for this moment. "Your allies might want to reconsider that pact. Humanity's hidden arsenal isn't just in our solar system. The chamber erupted in fresh chaos as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just built a fleet. They had positioned forces throughout the galaxy, always hidden, always waiting. How? The Vakari ambassador's voice trembled. How did you hide all this? You gave us the answer yourselves, Chen replied. You called Earth a death world, a planet that should never have produced intelligent life, but you never understood what that meant. She walked to the center of the chamber, her voice carrying to every corner. Earth taught us to be patient, to adapt, to prepare. Every creature on our world either evolved effective defenses or went extinct. We weren't going to make the same mistake in space. Commander Patel's voice came through again. Admiral, the Vakari allies are standing down. Their governments are officially declaring neutrality in the conflict. Chen nodded. The show of force had worked exactly as intended. The Concordat has a choice to make, she announced to the chamber. Continue treating humanity as a threat to be contained, or accept us as equals. But understand this, we're done accepting restrictions. We're done playing weak. And if we refuse? Dizak asked, their crystalline form vibrating with tension. If the Concordat demands compliance with existing treaties. Chen's laugh made several representatives flinch. Look around you, Ambassador. Your military alliance is crumbling. Your sensor networks have proven blind. Your most advanced weapons were turned against you by technology you thought we couldn't possess. Do you really want to see what else humanity has been hiding? The chamber's eye spoke again. The Centauri Republic has officially withdrawn from the Concordat's military restriction treaties. The Rigel Collective and Sirius Confederation are following suit. The ripple effect was spreading. Centuries of carefully maintained power structures were crumbling as the galaxy's powers reassessed their relationships with Earth. The species they had thought was safely contained had revealed itself to be a sleeping giant. Humanity doesn't want war, Chen stated firmly. We never did. All we ever wanted was to be treated as equals, to be allowed to grow and develop without artificial restrictions. You forced us to reveal our strength. Now you have to deal with the consequences. As the chamber descended into frantic diplomatic negotiations, Chen received another message from Commander Patel. Admiral, the Jovian Division reports that the last Vakari ships have retreated from the solar system. Earth Command confirms that Operation Phoenix's diplomatic phase is proceeding exactly as planned. Chen watched the representatives of 100 worlds trying to adapt to the new reality. Some were afraid, some were angry, but many were relieved. The galaxy's balance of power had been maintained through artificial restrictions and careful containment of emerging species. Now, a death world species had shattered those chains, and nothing would ever be the same. The age of human compliance was over. The age of true galactic cooperation was about to begin. New Dawn. 1 year after Operation Phoenix, the view from Earth's orbital command center told a different story than anyone in the Concordat could have predicted. Admiral Sarah Chen stood beside Commander Maya Patel, watching as ships from 24 species moved through the Sol system's transit lanes, not as enemies or reluctant allies, but as partners in what had become known as the Terra Accords. The Vakari delegation is approaching the Jupiter checkpoint, Maya reported, her fingers dancing over a holographic display. Their new ambassador seems nervous about passing so close to the Jovian Division's patrol routes. Old habits, Sarah smiled, remembering the fear in alien eyes during those first few months after humanity revealed its true strength. Though I have to admit, I never expected them to be one of our strongest supporters in the reformed Concordat. The Vakari ships passed through the checkpoint, their energy signatures carefully monitored by sensors hidden in Jupiter's storms. But unlike a year ago, these sensors' data was shared openly with all members of the Terra Accords. Transparency had become humanity's most powerful diplomatic tool. Message from the Proxima Beta Memorial Station, Maya said. The joint research team has successfully completed trials of the enhanced nanomedicine program. The very technology the Vakari tried to stop us from developing is now saving lives across their colonies. Sarah nodded, thinking about how much had changed. The station where 37 human scientists had died had been rebuilt, but not just as a human facility. Now it housed researchers from 15 species, all working together without the artificial restrictions that had held back progress for so long. "Admiral," a young lieutenant called out, "the Centauri Republic is requesting permission to establish a permanent embassy on Mars. They say our gravity compensation technology has finally made it possible for their species to maintain a presence on high-gravity worlds." "Approved," Sarah responded. "Make sure they have access to the full technical specifications. The era of hoarding knowledge is over." Through the command center's windows, she could see one of humanity's new diplomatic vessels preparing to depart. Unlike the hidden warships of the past, these ships showcased Earth's technology openly. Their crystalline computers were visible through transparent hull sections, their antimatter drives glowed with carefully controlled power, and their Leviathan units now served as rapid response vessels for galactic emergencies. "It's still hard to believe sometimes," Maya said quietly, watching the ship power up. "A year ago, we were hiding everything. Now we're teaching other species how to replicate our technology." "That was always the plan," Sarah reminded her. "Operation Phoenix wasn't just about revealing our strength. It was about creating a galaxy where we wouldn't need to hide it anymore." The diplomatic vessel initiated its departure sequence, its hull briefly reflecting Earth's sunlight. In its wake, ships from a dozen worlds adjusted their courses respectfully, not out of fear, but out of the new understanding that had emerged after humanity's revelation. "The Rigel Collective's analysis of Earth's biosphere has yielded interesting results," Maya mentioned, reading from a report. "They say understanding how we evolved on a death world has helped them develop new approaches to environmental adaptation. Their colony success rate has improved by 300%. Sarah smiled. This was what humanity had hoped for all along. Not dominance, but partnership. They had built their hidden arsenal not just for protection, but as proof that the galaxy's assumptions about technological development were wrong. Earth's harsh environment hadn't just made humans strong. It had taught them to think differently. "Update from the Titan shipyards," Maya continued. "The first joint species construction project is ahead of schedule. Turns out combining human engineering with Centauri energy management and Vakari materials science produces better results than any of us could achieve alone." Through another window, Sarah could see Earth itself, the death world that had shaped her species. Its oceans had taught them stealth, its predators had taught them strategy, and its endless challenges had taught them to never stop advancing. But most importantly, it had taught them that survival didn't have to mean standing alone. "Admiral," the lieutenant called out again, "the Concordat's new council is ready to begin their first session. They're waiting for Earth's representative." Sarah straightened her uniform. The new Concordat was different from the old one. No more artificial restrictions, no more containment policies disguised as protection. Instead, it was built on the principles that humanity had proven. Strength didn't have to mean dominance, advanced technology didn't have to be a threat, and working together didn't mean giving up independence. "Humanity spent centuries preparing for war," she said to Maya. "But what we really built was a foundation for peace. Not the peace of restrictions and control, but the peace of mutual respect and cooperation." As she prepared to address the new council, Sarah thought about all the hidden bunkers and secret fleets that had protected humanity for so long. They weren't gone. Earth had learned its lessons too well to ever leave itself truly vulnerable. But now they stood as a reminder rather than a threat. A reminder that underestimating any species was a mistake, that evolution in harsh conditions produced not just strength but wisdom, and that the galaxy was big enough for everyone to grow stronger together. The age of secrets was over. The age of true understanding had begun.